Noura al-Takeka, a popular Kuwaiti singer and drummer, receives a cryptic phone call in the evening. The voice on the other end is deep, raspy, and almost otherworldly. The caller invites Noura to perform at a wedding, promising great rewards. The mysterious nature of the invitation piques her curiosity, but her eagerness for a new performance outweighs any skepticism. She agrees, unaware of the dark forces she is about to encounter. Noura and her band drive to the mansion on the outskirts of the city. As they approach, the mansion appears strangely out of place, too grand and isolated. It stands like a looming, dark figure against the night sky, with eerie silence surrounding it. The group notices how the mansion feels unnaturally pristine, as if time has frozen around it. When they ring the doorbell, a woman greets them. She is beautiful, but her smile feels unnatural, like it's forced. Still, Noura brushes off the oddities and enters the mansion. Inside, Noura and her band are escorted to a grand room where the wedding guests are already gathered. The women in the room are all unnervingly beautiful, but something is off. Their skin feels hot to the touch, and their movements are stiff, almost like they're not in control of their own bodies. Despite the discomfort, Noura focuses on her music and begins to perform. She tells herself that it's just nerves, but the strange energy in the room is hard to ignore. As Noura begins to play, she notices the women starting to move in an eerie, synchronized dance. Their steps are rigid and unnatural, yet they are moving as if they're performing an ancient ritual. One of Noura's bandmates whispers in panic, "Noura, they're not human." But Noura reassures her that it's just part of the event, though deep down, she feels something sinister. As the music swells, the room seems to pulse with an energy that feels wrong, as if they are being drawn into something beyond their control. Noura's unease grows as she continues to perform. The music seems to be the only thing grounding her, but she can't shake the feeling that something is watching her. She turns her attention to the bride and groom, who have yet to appear, wondering if they'll bring some sense of normalcy. But even they feel distant, as though their presence is somehow unreal. The air grows colder, and the hairs on the back of Noura's neck stand up. There is something in the room, something that is not of this world. Suddenly, the music falters as Noura's eyes fall on a woman in the center of the room. This woman is dancing with wild abandon, her long hair flying around her. But as the woman twirls, the hem of her skirt lifts, revealing legs that have been gruesomely impaled with knives and forks. It is a grotesque, unnatural sight, and Noura's bandmate gasps in horror. The woman continues to dance as if nothing is wrong, the knives and forks sinking deeper into her flesh. The room feels as if it's suffocating them. Noura tries to focus on the music, but the vision haunts her. The lights flicker, and suddenly, the room plunges into darkness. For a moment, Noura and her band are plunged into a thick, oppressive blackness, unable to see anything. Then, a low, guttural voice echoes through the dark, "You have entered our domain. Now, you belong to us." The voice is deep, echoing as though it comes from every direction. Panic spreads through the group as they try to flee. Something ancient and terrifying has been awakened, and the music they played has summoned it. Noura and her band scramble to find an exit, but the mansion seems to have turned against them. Every door they open leads them to the same room. The walls feel as if they are closing in. As they run through the dark halls, they encounter shadowy figures, their eyes glowing a sickly yellow. These figures move unnaturally, their forms constantly shifting. Noura's heart races as she realizes that they are trapped in a place where the laws of reality no longer apply. In a moment of clarity, Noura realizes that they are no longer in a normal wedding venue. The mansion is a place that exists outside of time and space, a realm controlled by the jinns. The guests aren't human, they are creatures of the supernatural, beings who exist between worlds. The wedding is not for mortals, it is a ritual to summon and bind souls to the jinn's realm. The music that Noura and her band played has awakened something ancient, and now they must pay the price. Noura, though terrified, knows that the only way to survive is to escape. She urges her bandmates to stay calm and think clearly. They must find a way out of the mansion before the jinns complete their dark ritual. They split up, searching for a way to break the cycle of endless rooms and shifting halls. As they move deeper into the mansion, the walls seem to breathe, closing in on them, preventing them from finding any way out. Finally, they stumble into a room where the bride and groom are seated. The couple is draped in shadow, their faces obscured. They sit perfectly still, awaiting something. Noura feels a deep sense of dread wash over her. She realizes that the bride and groom are not human either, but something else entirely, perhaps the very beings that control the mansion. The couple is part of the ritual, their presence required to complete the dark ceremony. Noura and her band realize they are unwitting participants in this twisted event. As Noura and her band continue their search for an escape, they begin to hear whispers, voices that seem to come from the walls themselves. The whispers speak of ancient rituals and marriages held by the jinns to bind souls to their realm. These stories are not new, they have happened countless times before, each one leading to the destruction of mortal souls. The mansion, it seems, has been a place of dark magic for centuries. Noura stumbles upon an old book hidden in a dusty corner of the mansion. The book is filled with cryptic symbols and drawings of rituals. One page details a ritual involving a wedding between a mortal and a jinn, a ceremony that binds the mortal soul to the supernatural realm. Noura feels her blood run cold as she realizes that she and her band were chosen as part of this dark ceremony. The music they played was not just a performance, it was a key to unlock the portal between worlds. As Noura and her band try to make sense of the ritual, the shadows around them grow darker. The jinns, sensing their fear, begin to close in. The mansion itself seems to shift and distort, trapping them in an endless maze. They encounter more shadowy figures, beings who were once human but now exist as twisted creatures, their forms contorted by dark magic. The air is thick with the presence of malevolent spirits, and Noura knows they have only moments before they are caught. In a desperate move, Noura and her band make a break for the exit. They run through the mansion, but every door they open leads them to the same place. The mansion's layout seems to be constantly shifting, trapping them in a loop. The walls seem to close in, and the air grows thick with dread. Noura feels as though they are running in circles, unable to escape the grasp of the jinns. Finally, after what feels like hours, the band bursts out of the mansion into the night. They stumble onto the road and encounter a man walking alone. He is startled by their frantic behavior and listens as Noura tells him the entire story. The man reveals that the mansion has been abandoned for years. No one has lived there in a long time. The realization hits Noura like a wave. They were never performing for a wedding. They had been caught in a trap set by the jinns. As the truth sinks in, Noura and her band are horrified. The mansion, the wedding, the guests, it was all a facade, a carefully orchestrated ritual to summon and bind them to the jinns' realm. The music they played was a conduit for the jinns, and by performing, they unknowingly participated in the dark ceremony. The jinns had been waiting for someone to come, and Noura and her band were the chosen ones. Noura and her band return to the city, but the memories of that night continue to haunt them. They are plagued by nightmares of the mansion and the twisted figures they encountered. Noura can't shake the feeling that Noura and her band return to the city, but the memories of that night continue to haunt them. They are plagued by nightmares of the mansion and the twisted figures they encountered. Noura can't shake the feeling that the jinns are still watching them, lingering in the shadows. Her bandmates, too, are affected. Each one seems to retreat into themselves, avoiding conversation or performance. They've all been irrevocably changed. Noura, who once thrived on performing, now fears even the sound of her own voice, terrified it may summon the jinns back. Weeks pass, but Noura's anxiety and trauma deepen. The terror of that night consumes her, and she gradually withdraws from the public eye. She cancels all upcoming performances, unable to face her fans or the world she once loved. Eventually, she disappears completely, leaving only rumors behind. Some say she moved away, others whisper that the jinns took her soul claimed by the dark forces she once unknowingly appeased. There's no trace of Noura. She becomes a haunting legend in her own right. As time passes, the tale of Noura al-Takeka and the wedding of the jinns becomes a whispered legend among the people. The mansion stands abandoned, a silent witness to the horrors of that night, with no one daring to approach it. Some believe that the mansion still holds dark secrets, its halls echoing with the trapped souls of those who unknowingly participated in the jinn ceremonies. The story of Noura and her band, who performed at the wedding of the jinns, becomes a chilling reminder to those who seek to uncover the unknown that some worlds are best left unexplored.